Hi everybody, I am back with another video, and what I'm going to do is try to test something. Um, the Phil from the Advice show, he's talking about the mainstream media romanticize the New Zealand shooter, and he is talking about a few, I guess Twitter tweets and what mainstream is saying about the shooter, how they romanticize him in comparison to how black people don't stay on code and just tear each other down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be playing clips of what he's saying, and I'm going to see if I can romanticize a black person in the same way that he is explaining how the mainstream media, he called them lamestream media, romanticizes um, the New Zealand shooter. Okay, let me go ahead and get him talking.
Mainstream media, even outside the U.S. as well. I want you to see, and I got a few articles to show you guys, just the headlines, how they report this guy versus how they will report us. Now, the first thing on the Telegraph, you'll see Brenton Tarrant, the ordinary white man turned mass murderer. Now, he called himself an ordinary white man in his manifesto. But why would they title it like that? The ordinary white man. Now, words are powerful. Words mean something. And a lot of these people are using propaganda to also lessen how people look at this guy and also never want to hold them accountable. Now, look at this one. This was from the Daily Mail. Look, I'm going to read it like this. Something happened during his travels. How a blonde little boy turned into a far-right mass killer and murdered 49 worshippers after his father died of cancer, and he left Australia to tour the world, including North Korea and Pakistan. Really? I mean, really. First,
Okay, see with him saying that now he's showing how they romanticize the shooter. Let's say for example, I'm going to the biggest the black person that the majority of the media, well, black media have today is R. Kelly. Now I'm gonna see how I can romanticize R. Kelly the same way um, this article romanticized the New Zealand killer. Now we notice here they have this big white subheading under him that says the backpacker killer. What in the world is a backpacker killer? He had a backpack on? Really, I don't know. But anyway, let's say something happened during R. Kelly's life. How this young boy, very talented young boy, who wasn't as literate in school, how in the world did he turn into on a, into a sexual predator that molests underage girls, and how he has ruined many um, young girls' lives by molesting them by underage as he creates such wonderful songs that a lot of black people say they made babies off of his songs. You know, his love songs, they're wonderful songs. And and all of this is after he was molested by grown family members. And his mother, who he's very close to, she died. And he was left out there, I guess, to fend for himself because he couldn't trust any of his family members, the grown family. Not all the family members has turned on him. Hmm. And as a singer, R. Kelly has helped a lot of people, a lot of artists with their career. The particular one is Aaliyah, that he married at a young age. She was 15. She forged a marriage license to say she was 18. So he didn't know she was 15. But he managed to make a mistake marrying a young underage girl. How could such a talented young man get caught up with these young girls? Did these girls lie to him? So, and they got this surviving R. Kelly going on because because it says it's about the young black girls, and then you got the different protesters protest his studios. They had him completely canceled and muted here in the United States. So he went abroad to Germany and Australia, got bookings that people want to hear him sing because he does make very beautiful music. No one can deny that. So Americans didn't appreciate the fact that he can still make music, sing, and provide for himself and his children and pay child support and take care of his kids. But there are those that just don't want him working because of this situation with him. He was acquitted now. He was acquitted of all those porn charges. The girl said it wasn't her in the video that was peed on. So the fact that there was no evidence, no victim, he was acquitted. So because he was acquitted, um, over the years, he's been making a lot of beautiful music. But now he can't make any music because the pressure on him is to make absolutely certain he's not making any money at all. And in doing that, that puts him in a situation to be imprisoned in jail for not taking care of his responsibilities, which is to pay child support to make sure that his youngest 17, and I understand the child gonna be 18 in a couple of months. Make sure he continues that child support. So, even though R. Kelly made the mistake of sleeping with underage girls, which is considered child molestation, it's not a pedophile. They say he's a pedophile and he's a rapist. Those two things I'm not absolutely certain about because my understanding of a pedophile is 12 and under. Those are babies. 13 and over, I understand to be on child molestation. And since a lot of 13-year-olds, they don't listen, they go and they seek out grown men, and they won't have consensual sex with them, knowing that it's illegal for the 18 and over to have relations with them. But that's what the young girls want. And a lot of older men, they like young girls. And apparently R. Kelly is one of them that like young girls. Even though R. Kelly did these things, he did got to a point where he ran across the stage with a sign that says 18 and over. So since then, he's taken on the idea of, I love all women that are legal. Some states 16 is legal, and other states 17 is legal. So it's based on what state he's in at the time. If she's 16 and she come to him in a particular state, she's legal. In another state, a different girl comes to him and she's 17, she's legal. But she will be illegal underage in a state that's 17. You have to be at the age of 17. Is underage in that state if she's 16. Now, for what I understand, Azrael was 17 when she claims her dad took her to R. Kelly and took all the pictures and videos of her in sexual situations of her naked. And she says he threatened to destroy her and R. Kelly if he didn't pay him, put $20,000 in the bank and then $10,000 after that. That's what she says. Without the actual evidence, it's a he say she say thing. And my thing is, I don't take my belief based on he say she say. I can sit there and watch the back and forth from a
First of all, who cares where he went?
okay, from a mutual perspective. I'm not taking your side and I'm not taking your side. From looking at both sides, I'm looking at a higher perspective based on who's telling the truth, based on who I think is telling the truth, based on what they're saying. And sometimes you really can't tell. So, even though R. Kelly had sex and did these terrible sexual things with these girls, which is things I would never even think about doing with a man for any amount of money. But there are young girls that do that. And R. Kelly sit there, control these girls sexually. He controls them. These girls fall in love with him. But R. Kelly is what they call the king of R&B. He's the king of R&B. He is naturally puts out that music. He spit out that music like breathing. He don't think about every breath that he breathes, and therefore he puts out music, great music the same way. But he just loves these young girls. I understand Leah came to him when she was 12. Family brought the young girls in, to become famous on the R. Kelly, because R. Kelly is such a great singer. He's just great at what he does with the music and how he could help their music career. So his family got their young daughters there, and if they got that good singing voice, I think they do. They're around R. Kelly because I understand Leah was 12 when she came there, and he helped her music, and she got music. And the one a lot of people talked about is Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. And if she's 15 or 14 and she's singing that Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. R. Kelly like somewhere around 26, 27 at the time. The music would be about age ain't nothing but a number. Because she always loved R. Kelly. R. Kelly obviously loved her because they married each other. But back then, it was apparently allowed because that's what that was the environment back then. They had these young girls that could sing. For example, Beyonce dad, what's his name? Like he said, he took Destiny Child there, to work with R. Kelly. He didn't like what he see. In the studio here, a club of 50 young girls over there dancing and whatever. He didn't like that. So when the Destiny Child did their music with R. Kelly, he decided that he didn't want to go that route. He protected his girls. He didn't let them go that route. He didn't say anything about R. Kelly sleeping with his daughters. He didn't say that. He didn't like what he saw there. So when his girls were there, they was never allowed to go to the bathroom by themselves. Tina always was with them at all times. So, and then the brat on This Nation, when the question come up there about the club and then the studio and all of this in that house, like she said, she was a part of that. And she said that wasn't unusual for you to have the club next to the studio. So that was the environment back then. So coming 30 years later to criminalize what was okay and allowed back then and take that and bring it to 2019 and criminalize it and put somebody in and try to retry somebody on the same thing that he was found not guilty back then by attaching it to something that is going on now. And this thing about sex girls trafficking, R. Kelly said on Gail's interview that there are real girls in real chains that are held hostage and starved right now. But everybody trying to, like they say, like someone called into the police station from human trafficking, called in to say that Azrael and 4 other girls was going to do a suicide pact. Like they say, the police went there, according to his publisher, the police went there, questioned. There was no such thing. So how would R. Kelly hide 4 girls that came to him through sex trafficking in Trump Towers? Gail came, did an interview with R. Kelly in Trump Towers. Did she get the sensation or the hair stand up on the back of her neck, that there must be some girls in there that came there through human trafficking. Did she get that sensation? Did she get that feeling that anything like that was going on? There's a reason. There's a reason R. Kelly did the interview with Gail, and there's a reason he allowed Gail to come into his apartment in Trump Towers. There's a reason for that. He get to tell his side of the story, coming from his point of view, because it's the only way he's going to come out. So, and then these girls, they say they're brainwashed. I don't know. I listened to, I think, a girl named Tony TK or something. She said she's a certified hypnosis and this and this and that. And she explained what brainwashed is. So, through her, I have a better understanding of how someone is brainwashed. And I look at Azrael and Jocelyn. They say they are brainwashed. The sensation that I get from Jocelyn, when she was sitting on the show, she wasn't as outspoken on the show as she was on the other interviews that TMZ has done with her when she was leaving stores, shopping, or being out or whatever, which they're not, following her that way now, because just like me going to the mall shopping, the TMZ stopping me. It's what normal people does. So, Jocelyn look like she has whatever relationship she has with R. Kelly, and this is coming from the audio that they claim is Jocelyn's sound coach. They'll have to give me some straight up proof that that person Jocelyn is talking to is a sound coach. Sound coach, I think.
Why are you talking about he's a blonde little?
I think works for R. Kelly, a sound coach. But she is laying there talking. You're just gonna have to prove to me that that is not Jocelyn's mother. When she was telling her about, she was concerned about having herpes, and the sound coach or her mother did not immediately say, "Well, let me take you to the doctor and get you checked and make sure you don't have that." Because like she said, she didn't know if she had it. She just hoped she didn't have it. And that was the time for Jocelyn to get out. But with her being terrified of having herpes, she go talk to R. Kelly. Like R. Kelly already told her when she said she told her mother and father that she told him that they knew about their relationship. She was concerned, why did you tell him that? And now R. Kelly told her she have to prove her loyalty to him again. So, with knowing that, the sound coach, who I think is a mother, should have pulled her out then. Because now, this girl goes into survival mode. Okay, I'm going to suffer here with R. Kelly if I don't gain his trust. So she probably had to do some things that she don't want to do to please R. Kelly, which is basically what majority of black men do. They want us to prove our loyalty to them. Do certain things that we don't like. And if I don't like it, I'm just not going to do it. If you don't trust me, oh well. There's certain things I'm not going to do. You just don't do it. I'm just not going to do it. When I say about me, they say, well, you going to cut off the money you give me? Oh well. I save some money. I will do this. So I think the situation when Johnson was on the Gayle King show, I got the situation that since she didn't get out with that tape, that conversation audio she had with her sound person, who I think is the mother, she was forced to prove her loyalty to R. Kelly to continue surviving there. That's what I think of. That's what I saw on her face sitting there. Azrael is a whole nother thing. Not thing. It's a whole nother she she ceased to be angry, and she had to do a lot of things with R. Kelly also to prove her loyalty to him. And the sensation that I get from her is that she did a lot of things. She did a lot of things. Like the girl say, she saw Azrael there, and Azrael was doing certain things with R. Kelly, and she knew her mother, parents, would not want their daughters doing that, and so she let the parents know before she left, and then she called and she left her own free will. So back then, that's a key point right there that proved these girls weren't held hostage. They weren't so brainwashed. Because at any time where I just don't like doing this, and you leave. Men will do that. If you don't do what they ask you to do, how they ask you to do it, then they punish you. They punish you, be controlling, don't let you be yourself. You can't express yourself. Start arguments, negativity. You just can't get anything right. That's what men do. And so that's how men control women, especially women that love them. And and that love is strong. But I would admit, they say all of this abuse that they claim R. Kelly is doing to these girls, I wouldn't doubt if it isn't emotional or verbal, psychological abuse. I don't doubt those things. So, yes, if he's doing all of this to these girls, then that's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. You gotta do disgusting things that he don't like. Like she say, you gotta text him to let him know you coming out of the room. Or I mean, if they don't come, you stomp on the floor or whatever to let them know you want to come out. Seeing a house like that with R. Kelly doing all these things and whatever. It's a situation I couldn't possibly live under. But those girls do. And because the parents don't like the fact that R. Kelly has these girls doing all these terrible things, and the funds coming to them to pay their mortgage, to pay their bills has stopped. Don't like that. Don't like that. So, they're coming after R. Kelly and framing these girls as brainwashed, manipulated, verbally, emotionally, psychologically, abused. by this man, 52-year-old man, who mannerism is of a teenager. And a person, I heard the question asked, what would a 52-year-old man want with a young girl that's 18 or no over, under and over, whatever? And she said, what would he want with an 18-year-old? The same thing a 70-year-old man, Hugh Hefner, want with an 18-year-old girl. The same thing all these artists want with, let's say, a 50-year-old want with a 20-year-old, 70-year-old want with a 25-year-old. There's an age difference between all races of people in this industry, but all of it is being criminalized under R. Kelly. So R. Kelly's doing all this thing. I would never call R. Kelly a pedophile because I haven't heard anybody say R. Kelly slept with 12-year-old and under. I've never heard that, seen nobody say that. So then I heard they said he's raped. I haven't heard anybody say R. Kelly attacked them, threw them down, and forcefully take it. I never heard that. Now, statutory rape. 14, 15, 16, 17 in some states are considered statutory rape if you have sex, consensual sex with of ages, I'll say 18, 12-year-old, 18, 13 rather. It's statutory rape. Even if it's consensual, it's a statutory rape. But it's not forced rape. And these girls already know because they say it. Well, I was 14 when he had sex with me. Did you go there for that purpose? Did you want it? Yeah, I was just so mesmerized. It's R. Kelly. I was mesmerized. It's R. Kelly. But he knew I was 14. To me, that's crazy.
Little boy, no one cares. He murdered people. But this is what they do with their people. See how they stay on code? I'm trying to show you guys this. See, black folks or a black person do something wrong, no matter what it is, you ready just to throw them underneath the bus and talk all kind of crap about them. But look what happens when they do something. Even if someone they say they can't stand, look at how they talk about it, okay? Well, so when you have this R. Kelly trial that's coming up, they're going to be showing, you know, how black folks gonna like to talk about, you know, each other and say different things. Listen, you don't need to be doing that publicly. Look what they do to their people. Look at this one. Brenton Tarrant, CNN. From gym trainer to murder suspect. We don't care if he trained at the gym or he taught people anything. Why should we care? They do that to humanize him. That's what they're...
So, white people, the criminals in their community, even though they commit these horrible, horrific crimes against each other, it humanizes them. So how can we as black people humanize R. Kelly? How can we do that? Yeah, let's see. Yes, R. Kelly commit statutory rape on these young girls, on the 18, these 14-year-old girls, 15-year-old girls, 16-year-old girls. He commits statutory rape with these girls. That's a terrible thing in this Me Too movement now. It's just a very terrible thing that R. Kelly did with these young girls. But he's a great singer. Everybody loves his music. He is the king of R&B. The king of R&B. Molested young girls under the age of 18 and above the age of 12. So it's against the law to have sex with underage girls. So this is great singer succumb to this criminalized act of sexually molesting girls under the age of 18 and above the age of 12. So, and I said it, worded that way because pedophiles sleep with babies, 7-year-old, 5-year-old. R. Kelly was molested. He says since he was 7 years old. So his family members that he said molested him, they are pedophiles. R. Kelly was 7. So he was raised by pedophiles. They had relations with him. And now that he's a grown man, he like young girls. I think the youngest he supposedly slept with will be Aaliyah, when she was 14. We know he married her when she was 15. So that makes him a molester, underage child molester, not a pedophile. Because pedophiles sleep with babies. Pedophiles sleep with new 2-month-old babies. There's an article a few years ago that came out with this man put his thing in this 2-month-old baby, and he had to go to the hospital to get his thing removed from this baby. For what I understand, the baby died, and they cut his thing off. And I think he wanted to sue because they didn't have to cut his thing off. He didn't appreciate how they cut his thing off. They could have done better than that. But my thing is, criminals have more rights than victims. I digress. So R. Kelly is a child molester. He sleeps with underage girls because teenagers are considered children. 12 and under are considered babies. So this great singer R. Kelly is, and he's still putting out these great vocals. R. Kelly's natural, acapella voice. He don't need all of this other stuff that these singers have to enhance their voice. R. Kelly doesn't need that. The man is one of the greatest songwriter, producer, executive ever. One of the greatest ever. Because there are many other greatest ones, like Michael Jackson. He can sing it a cappella. He don't need internet music. Who else? And the country singers. These people don't have all of that behind their voice. They put that acapella voice out there and get that guitar, those drums beating, but they don't need any of that acoustic whatever stuff unless it's a show or whatever. But their voice is it. Their vocal is it. These are the singers that they're trying to bring down. Like Whitney Houston. She lost hers before she died. Anyway, like Phil says, white people humanize their criminals. They humanize them. They don't call them monsters. They don't call them every kind of name that black people call their criminals. Black people dehumanize their criminals. R. Kelly is being dehumanized. Michael Jackson is being dehumanized. This man killed 50 people, and they are humanizing him. Even though he did these horrible things, he killed all these people, he's still a human. He's still a man. He was a boy. Like this man who he's talking about, Brenton Tarrant. He's a gym trainer. He did great things. R. Kelly is a child molester. Underage girls. He's the king of R&B. Turned child molester. He's the greatest songwriter ever. One, the greatest songwriter ever. Turned child molester of underage girls. Let's see what more Phil has to say about this humanizing and dehumanizing of people in your own race.
You're doing. The next one. Massacre suspect traveled the world but lived on the internet. That's the New York Times. And last but not least, the Daily Mirror. Angelic boy who grew into an evil far-right mass killer. You called him an angelic boy? You don't know him to say he's angelic or anything.
So, this topic, angelic boy. Was R. Kelly an angelic boy at one time? He probably had an angelic voice at one time when he was a little boy. I know Michael Jackson was an angelic boy. And they say he turned pedophile. Michael Jackson, I think he said, Candy girl, oh my. And Michael Jackson had a very angelic voice. R. Kelly, angelic voice. They were angelic boys. Michael Jackson, angelic boy, falsely turned pedophile. R. Kelly, angelic boy, turned child molester, statutory rape underage girls between the age of 14 and 18. So, I had no clue in my head how I would humanize R. Kelly and still talked about the terrible thing that he's doing. So let's see what more Phil has to say.
But yet, this is what these people do. This is what they're pushing. You get that, ladies and gentlemen? They would never, ever, ever call him the white supremacist, terrorist, scourge, evil, cancer, need to be out of society, whatever word you want to call him. They would never call him that at all. What have they been doing outside of calling him angelic and he traveled the world? Then they blaming the tech companies. Oh, it's the tech companies. It's Google. It's Facebook. It's Twitter. It's their fault because he was able to stream this to their platform like they knew he was going to stream that. Nobody on Facebook going to know you're going to upload some crap like that. No one at Google or YouTube know you're going to upload that crap. Then you want to put all this pressure on the tech companies.
Okay, it's Google's fault. This boy man went around. This angelic boy went around. Mass murdered 50 people, injuring many more. What did Michael Jackson do? I don't see. They don't have no thing on Michael Jackson on social media on the tech thing. R. Kelly does. Think about it. They got this video of R. Kelly peeing on this young girl. Me, I seen the video of R. Kelly with the young girl years ago. They talked about it so much. So I went online and looked at the video to see it for myself. And I look back and forth at it too, because I'm not even looking at stuff like that. So when I'm looking at it, I'm looking for something specific. They said it wasn't R. Kelly because R. Kelly had hair, had no hair, and the person in the video had hair. So I'm watching it too. That's what I'm looking for something specific. Now, everyone has seen this video online. The tech company allowed this video of R. Kelly peeing on this young girl. So it's the tech company fault that allowed this video of R. Kelly peeing on this girl that got so many people upset. Got a lot of people losing their mind, screaming. He's a rapist, he's a rapist, he's a rapist. I'm like, all that emotions coming out of people because of what happened to them in their life, and they can relate to it with R. Kelly. But if you were forcibly raped by a family member like R. Kelly was, like my sister was molested by my grandfather when she was a little girl. I think before she turned 12, so my grandfather was a pedophile. I was a young girl, I think like 17, 18. I was a young girl too. But I want to think I was more like, he never molested me, but it's not from lack of trying. But I told my mom. But some girls are scared. They threaten them, this and that. Still scared. I don't care. You threaten me? Okay. I button up. The moment I get around my mama, I'm telling. Okay. If you tell, I'm going to kill your brother. I'm going to kill your mama. I'm going to kill your dad. I'm going to do all of this. Okay. I'm not going to say anything. The moment I get around my mama, I'm telling. My granddaddy knew that. He never touched me. He looked me in the eye. I looked him in the eye. You know what he said? Get in the car. I got in the car. My mom and dad was working. I was at, so my grandmama, they was keeping me while they worked. And so he took me back to grandma. And grandma was sitting on the steps. She see granddaddy brought me back, and she looking at me. She didn't say anything. She knew what granddaddy was. She was old, sitting on the chair. Sitting on the steps. At the time, I was too young to know what that look in her eye was. But grandma had a lot going on in her mind. I sensed it, I felt it. My grandma never talked about things. But my sister told a different story. That was molested by my grandfather. She told a different story. She told a different story with grandma. So grandma knew what granddaddy was doing. But you know, back then, can those women do anything about it? No. Because remember, my grandma, she came up through Jim Crow. Her daddy was in World War One. He was in World War One. And with what the women are going through during those Jim Crow days, I grew up near the end of the Jim Crow days in Martin Luther King time. Martin Luther King died. I was either 7 or 8 years old. I wasn't aware of any of those things going on around me because we was raised in a protective environment. That's how mom and daddy raised us. We were country girls living outside of the city. You had to walk a half a mile to get to the next house. That's how I grew up. We grew up in nature. So, my mama picked cotton. I grew up in the cotton field, falling asleep on the sack while mama go down the field. Pick the cotton. She'd get further down, she would come back with her sack full. And me and my little sister, we would get off the cotton sack, and she would dump the cotton in the sack, the one that they tied above, and then they weigh it. That's where I grew up as a child. I was 6 years old when the cotton gin came into the field. 6 years old. And one person on one of my videos asked me, why am I considering myself ADOS when I know for a fact that I am one of the Aboriginal Indians. My great-great-grandfather was a full-blood Cherokee. My great-grandmother is Cherokee. My great-grandmother raised my father. And I think she died when he was like 10. My dad went to his grave talking about my great-grandma that raised him. Because him and his mama didn't get along very well. But he had to go back to stay with my grandma. And he was 10. And her husband finished raising my dad. And then he had a little brother. His name Phil, just like Phil on here, his name is Phil. And Philip. It was Philip. Well, he was called Philip. But his name was actually Booker T. Named after his daddy, whose name was Booker T. And my great great grandfather, you won't believe this, full blooded Cherokee Indian, called himself George Washington. That's where the Washington come from. As well as my husband, we share the same Cherokee Indian grandfather. I tell the stories that my dad told me about his Cherokee Indian great grandfather. And I married my husband. He tells the stories that he's been told by his great great grandfather, who's a full blood Cherokee. And we realize we're talking about the same person. He was never a slave. What I understand, he was a full blood Cherokee Indian. I always wonder how the Indians got here.
So you have to stop them from doing that.
Cut them off a little bit. That's how we got here. So I did a little bit of research because I need to understand where Indians come from. So we're doing the research, and so once I'm listening to this video, getting some research on this, who these Cherokee Indians are, and then the slaves are, and I'm understanding that it was the original Indians before the immigrants from Britain, Europe got here. Before they got here, the Indian was already here, and they came over, and they interacted with the Indians and had the Indians that's on the reservations now. Copper tone Indians like me, they say Indians got reparations. Yes, the descendants of the original Indians that was already here, when they got here, their descendants are the one that's getting reparations. The descendants of the original Indians that was already here, their descendants, the copper tone skin, like me, didn't get no reparations. And I asked my husband, did he ever try to get reparations, because he got more history on our great great grandfather than I do. And he said yes, he tried to get the reparations because he can prove without a shadow of a doubt through lineage, paperwork. Parents kept these information in Bibles. He can prove that. But he said, but getting the reparations, he said the red tape they put you through. Cherokee Indians like us, not 6 to 10 generations back, like they say Elizabeth Warren did that DNA thing, and she is related to the Indians 6 to 10 generations back. So 6 to 10 generations back, that would be, let's say, you said 18 years is one generation. So let me round it to 20. So 20 years times 6, that's 120 years. That's 120 years for just 6 generations back. You can just imagine 10. It's 200 years. So Elizabeth Warren traced her Indian lineage 120, 200 years back. I could go to the graveyard, to my grandma's, to my great grandma's tomb, where she's buried, and where her husband was buried. And she's Cherokee. She's full-blood Cherokee. My great-grandmother. I can go to her tomb right now. I took up when my grandmother died. I took a picture because I didn't know where the tomb was. Because I asked my mama, "Where is the tomb of my great great grandma?" And she went over there and showed me. So I said, "Oh, okay." I looked at her. I see her name there. I took a picture of the tomb, and then so I don't have to go back 120 years to find my lineage to any Indian. All I gotta do is go back to my great grandma. My great grandma was Cherokee. Her dad and mother were full-blooded Cherokees. Full-blooded Cherokees. Great great grandma, great great granddad. Great grandma, full-blood Cherokee. She married. I don't know if her husband was Cherokee. I don't know. I don't know too much about my great granddad. Now, I got a picture of my great granddad, her husband. I have a picture of him in my living room right now. We had a picture of my great great granddad, full blood Cherokee, in our house when I was a child. I still remember what he looks like. To this day, I remember what my great great granddad, full blooded Cherokee, looks like. Because we grew up with his picture in the house. Our house caught fire, so we don't have that picture anymore. But I have the picture of my great grandfather. I don't know if he was a full blood Cherokee. I would have to ask. I would have to ask my cousin about him. She would know. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna ask her about that. So I don't have to go back 120 years, 200 years to prove that I am a direct descendant of full-blood Cherokee. Because my grandma, my daddy's mother, who I knew all my life, I don't know if she was full-blood Cherokee or half Cherokee. Because I'm not absolutely certain at this moment if her dad was a full-blood Cherokee. I don't know, but I'm gonna find that out. Because I'm going to my cousin, my husband. We got a car yesterday. We had an accident. And we just got an accident December 5th. I'm still going through physical therapy for my neck and back. So we just got a car yesterday because, my husband went and paid cash for an old model 2000 Buick Century. I love that car. But it ran hot and now he done walked ahead on it, not listening to me. So I told him I want to keep the car. So he gonna go. So he went yesterday and got a nice car. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna ask her about that. Because she would know. But all I gotta do is go to the graveyard to my great grandmother's tomb and show you a full-blooded Cherokee Indian. I don't gotta go back 150, 120 years more. But with all of that, I still wouldn't get reparations as Indian. Because the reparation only go to the Indians that date back 120 years. To the reservations, I guess the reservations in North Carolina. So they get reparations. I'm sure I'm related to the Indians on the reservations of North Carolina, because in my research, Googling, the Cherokee Indians I think they say the southern east part of North Carolina, Georgia, and I think Virginia, no, Maryland, North Carolina, the tip east part of South Carolina, and I think there's some kind of way, and basically the coastlines of the Carolinas, Georgia, and I think in Virginia, and I think Tennessee. Oh, I'll have to go back. I did that yesterday. I should have had a note so I could look at it. But anyway, those are Cherokee Indians. So, but we as Indians wasn't relegated to the reservations where we would get reparations. We are just in this world as slaves because all the Indians were, according to legislation, they were all identified as slaves and or indentured servants. So back then they were just Indians, and then the people from Europe, whatever, came over here, sharecropped with them, made them slaves. Some of them were indentured servants. Indentured servants gets paid something. Slaves gets paid nothing. So my Indian family came up through the cotton fields picking cotton. I know that because I was a child in the cotton field. They pick cotton. Pick cotton. So with that says, I claim Ada West because I'm an American first because I was born on these soils, descendant of slavery, because my Cherokee father, I don't think my Cherokee father, I think he was a free Indian. I don't I hear anything about him being enslaved on the plantation, and I don't hear anything about him being indentured servants in the cotton fields. Even though I grew up in cotton fields because my grandma picked cotton, my mama picked cotton, they all picked cotton. My great grandma, they all picked cotton. But so I think they said, so why would I attach myself to slavery? Because the Indians were slaves. Were slaves. Period. Period. They were slaves. So if my grandparents weren't slaves, they were definitely indentured servants because my dad said he raised us on $5 a week. $5 a week. He raised us 7 children. And then later on, as the cotton gins come in, like I said, then they moved to my dad worked with construction with this man. My mom went to the hotels, working in the hotels, the Holiday Inn hotels. Then after that we left, then she went to work with the drive school bus for the public schools part time, but they never paid, but they never made her full time, so she could get that government benefits, which I think was evil. Why my mama couldn't get government assistance working for the government, but everybody else driving bus, getting that government insurance. So when my mama had her stroke, she didn't have the insurance because they never gave her. They gave her just enough hours so she would not get any benefits. So indigent service gets paid little or nothing. So that's the lineage I came through. Slavery and indigent service. And these, according to the articles that I've been reading, they're used interchangeably in the legislation, and they create these laws to identify dark-skinned people, the dark-skinned Indians. So, with all that said, slaves, indigent servants, Cherokee Indians, that's my lineage. So, we get off. So with this here story of dehumanizing black men, why the white people humanize their people.
That.
Let's
So
see.
what, you want them to censor everybody? That what you want? Yeah, I know you want that because you want to get the control back. These mainstream media companies. You blaming everything else. You're saying he's so great, he an angelic boy, then blaming the tech companies, but you refuse to blame what it is. White supremacy. It is a scourge. It is a doctrine of demons. It is something crafted from Satan himself. Because name me anywhere in the world where they have brought peace without oppression and thievery and rape and pillaging. Just look at it. You're talking about New Zealand. New Zealand wasn't inhabited by them. Australia wasn't inhabited by them. You had nothing but indigenous people there that looked like me, my color and darker. And when they got to Australia, they murdered them all. Just about wiped them all out. Wiped out many tribes. Same thing with New Zealand. They wiped them out. They didn't go there and just be an honorable people and say, oh, we want to just work with you guys and hey, we like to get some residency here and be at peace. No. No, no, no. Do your research.
So
Study history.
that's it. So I just wanted to just talk about how the point that he was saying how white people humanize these mass murderers and how black people dehumanize those in their community that commit crimes. But anyway, that is it for this video. And I will be back with more videos. So